Imagine this, if you will. It's before dawn. The sky's that deep, deep indigo, just starting to give way,
Hmm.
First hints of light way out on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
And across the Gulf of Tonkin, you start seeing them. Thousands. These limestone peaks covered in jungle just emerging from the mist.
It's quite something.
Some huge, like ancient giants, others smaller. And the mist just hangs there, blurring everything. Water, sky.
Hmm.
It's unreal.
Creates that otherworldly feel.
Totally. And the water itself. Glassy, emerald, reflecting it all.
Yeah.
Shifting colors, gray to pink. Then those incredible greens and blues.
And it's quiet.
So quiet. Just the sound of water lapping against the boat. It feels ancient, like you've stepped into a legend.
Yeah.
It's more than just a view, isn't it? It's like you can almost feel the history.
You really can. It sets a powerful mood.
Okay, let's unpack this. We are diving into Ha Long Bay today. Now, most people hear that name and think, okay, stunning beauty, iconic pictures, done.
The classic postcard image, yeah.
But what if I told you it's also a place where, like, actual dragons came down from heaven to save the day, where people lived for tens of thousands of years,
Yeah.
and where huge battles were won, not just fought on the bay, but by using the bay itself, like turning the islands and water into a weapon.
It's got layers. Many, many layers.
Exactly. We're going way beyond the usual travel stuff today, right into the heart of the realm of the descending dragon. We've got some amazing sources to draw on.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is how Halong Bay isn't just naturally spectacular, it's this living archive.
Archive, how so?
Well, you've got this epic geology, 500 million years in the making. Then there's the mythology, which is like the soul of the place for Vietnam. And then the history, trade, battles.
Right.
It's all woven together. Natural heritage, cultural heritage. It's this single incredible tapestry. That mix makes it, globally unique. We'll explore how all that comes together.
Absolutely. Our mission today is to take you right into that deep heart. We'll start with the myths, how it got its name, then the geology, how did it even form?
The science bit.
The science bit. Then meet the earliest people who lived there, its role in Vietnamese history, which is just, wow.
Yeah, the strategic side is crucial.
And finally, how you can actually experience it today. The best ways to see it all. Get ready for some serious aha moments as we figure out why it got that rare double UNESCO status. Okay, so we've painted this picture of immense natural beauty. But where does the human story start? What are the myths behind this place? Our sources say it all comes back to the dragons. This isn't just rock and water, it's divine intervention, according to legend.
Indeed. That myth is fundamental. It's the cultural DNA, you could say. It transforms it from just a geological site into something deeply tied to national identity. You almost feel it when you're there. Gives every island a kind of personality.
So what's the story? Lay it out for us.
Okay, so the folklore goes like this. Way back when Vietnam was just starting out, the people were constantly under threat. Invaders coming from the sea trying to overrun them. A really vulnerable time.
A young nation facing huge threats. Got it.
Right. So they prayed for help, and the Jade Emperor, a big figure in mythology, kind of the boss upstairs, he answered.
And he sent?
Not just anyone. He sent the mother dragon and her kids, a celestial dragon family, basically, tasked with defending the Vietnamese people.
Wow. Okay. A dragon defense force.
Yeah.
So they show up. What happens next? Do they just breathe fire?
Not exactly fire, that's the cool part. The story says they flew down from the heavens and spat out jewels. Emeralds, jade, countless gems raining down into the water.
Jewels. Okay.
But here's the twist. These jewels didn't just sink. The moment they hit the water, boom, they transformed. Instantly became the islands and islets we see today. Thousands of them.
Whoa, wait. So the islands are the jewels?
According to the legend, yes. They formed this instant, impenetrable wall of rock. Smacked the invader ships, saved the nation. The islands weren't just formed by geology, they were created defensively.
That is an incredible image. Dragon-made defenses. So, okay, invaders
Yeah.
defeated. Did the dragons just fly back home? Mission accomplished?
You'd think so, right? But no. The story says they were just captivated by the beauty of the bay they'd helped create and also by the spirit of the people they'd saved. Their resilience, their hard work.
So they stayed.
They chose to stay, made the bay their eternal home. It's this beautiful symbol, isn't it? Connection between the divine, nature, people. Suggests the place is so special even dragons couldn't leave. Makes you wonder, would you leave?
Huh. Good question. Probably not. And this story isn't just folklore. It's right there in the names, isn't it?
Exactly. Halong literally means descending dragon. You can practically picture it.
Yeah, descending into those misty peaks.
And it spreads out. Bai Long Bay nearby means where the dragon children attended their mother, shows they're still around. And Bak Long Bay, the peninsula, translates to white dragon tail, like where their tails hit the water.
So the whole landscape tells the story.
It really does. Our sources call this the soul of Ha Long's identity. It's not just a nice story, it's the emotional bedrock. It changes how you see the place. You're not just looking at rocks, you're in the middle of this epic tale of protection and resilience.
And that local importance is matched globally, right? This double UNESCO listing you mentioned, that's unusual.
Extremely unusual. It speaks volumes. UNESCO World Heritage status is already a big deal, but getting it twice, for different reasons, that's rare air. It basically shouts, this place is universally important, from two different angles.
Okay, break that down. What were the two reasons? The first time was
1994.
Right.
That was for outstanding universal aesthetic value, criterion 7 in UNESCO terms.
Meaning
It's just jaw-droppingly beautiful, superlative natural phenomena, exceptional natural beauty, the limestone pillars, the emerald water, the whole seascape. It qualified just on looks alone, essentially. One of the most beautiful places on Earth, officially.
Okay, pure beauty. Got it. And the second listing, 6 years later.
Right, in 2000. This time for exceptional geological and geomorphological value, criterion 8th.
Geology. So the science bit again.
Exactly. It recognizes Ha Long Bay as the world's best example of a specific type of landscape, a marine-invaded tower karst landscape. Basically, it's the textbook example of how karst landscapes evolve in warm, wet climates when the sea level rises.
Wow. So first, it's recognized as stunningly beautiful, one of the best natural sites. Then it's also recognized as the best scientific example of its kind.
Precisely. It's not just pretty, it's scientifically profound, a living laboratory for geologists. That double recognition is what makes it so special. Beauty and irreplaceable scientific value.
Imagine that. So gorgeous it's world class. And it's the planet's top example of this geological formation. That's quite a combination.
It really is, sets it apart.
And the sheer scale of it all.
Yeah.
It's huge, isn't it? Hard to grasp just how big.
Oh, it's vast. The numbers are pretty staggering. Over 1,500 square kilometers.
How big is that, roughly?
Think bigger than, say, the entire city of London, or some small countries. And within that space, you've got nearly 2,000 islands and islets. 1,969 to be exact.
Almost 2,000 islands. That's incredible.
And here's the thing, most of them are uninhabited, untouched really, which gives you that amazing sense of raw primordial wilderness, like stepping back in time.
This is wild nature.
Largely, yes. There's a core protected zone, this triangle between Daogo Island, Baque Ham Lake, and Kongte Island. That bit alone has 775 karsts. It's the heart of it all, where the features are most concentrated.
With that scale, all those uninhabited islands, the biodiversity must be incredible. And for anyone visiting, it must feel like there's always something new to discover around the next corner.
Absolutely. That sense of discovery is very real. It's not a landscape you can grasp all at once.
So this incredible place, full of myth, globally important, how did it actually form? Let's get into that half-billion-year story you mentioned. Let's peel back time.
Right. This is where we zoom out, way out. We're talking geological time, 500 million years. It's almost impossible to really picture that kind of timescale. But every single one of those karst towers is a piece of that history.
500 million years. Okay, where does chapter 1 begin? What kicked it all off?
It starts way back, around 500 million years ago, Paleozoic era. You had massive seismic activity deep under the sea. Basically, rocks getting pushed up from the seabed. That was the very first step, laying the deep foundation.
Okay, uplift from the ocean floor.
Higher.
But the islands themselves, the limestone, that came later.
Much later, yeah. The key period was between, say, 250 and 280 million years ago. Carboniferous and Permian periods. Conditions were just right, warm, shallow seas, perfect for forming limestone. And it just built up layer after layer for millions of years.
How thick are we talking?
Over 1,000 meters thick. Imagine a slab of limestone over 1 kilometer deep. That's the raw material for Ha Long Bay.
1 kilometer of limestone. Because you have this massive block of rock. Then what? How does it turn into thousands of separate towers?
Patience and climate. For a long, long time, not much happened. Then, starting around 20 million years ago, the climate shifted to warm and wet, tropical. And that kicked off the key process. Karstification.
Karstification, right? You mentioned that. Explain that again. How does it work?
Okay, think of rainwater. It absorbs CO2 from the air, so it's naturally slightly acidic, not strong, but persistent. This slightly acidic water seeps into all the tiny cracks and fissures in that huge limestone block, and over millions of years, it just dissolves the rock, calcium carbonate, It eats away at it slowly but surely.
Dissolves it, like sugar in tea.
Kind of, yeah, but way, way slower. It carves out caves and tunnels underground, and at the same time it erodes the surface, shaping the peaks. It's like nature's slow-motion acid etching.
Wow, so it's carving from inside and outside.
Yeah.
And the sea played a role too, didn't it? Sea levels changing.
Hugely important. The sea level wasn't stable. It rose and fell dramatically, multiple times over millions of years. Each time the sea level rose, it flooded the landscape, speeding up erosion in new ways, cutting deeper channels, isolating the peaks even more.
So it's a combination of the acidic rain dissolving and the sea moving in and out, carving away.
Exactly. That combination created the two classic karst shapes we see today.
Which are?
You get Fengkong. Those are the clusters of cone-shaped peaks that seem connected at the base, like a row of knuckles rising from the water.
Okay, connected cones.
And then you get Fenglen. Those are the really iconic ones. The individual, super steep, sheer-sided towers standing alone, like giant teeth sticking straight out of the sea. That's the classic Ha Long Bay look.
Fengkong and Fenglen, got it. And this whole process makes it the world's best example of this marine invaded tower karst. A living geology lesson.
Absolutely. It's a reference point for scientists studying these processes everywhere.
It's amazing to think those towers aren't just rocks. They're monuments to millions of years of Earth doing its thing. Right. Which brings up that question you raised. How does this immense geological time connect with us? With human history?
Well, the connection in Ha Long Bay is incredibly deep. Humans have been part of this landscape for a surprisingly long time.
Our sources call it a massive museum of human history. Finds going back tens of thousands of years. It wasn't just nature. People were here right alongside it.
It's true. Archaeology here has uncovered this continuous human story stretching way back into the Paleolithic. It's remarkable. It really positions the bay as a cradle of early Vietnamese civilization. People were living here, adapting, thriving for millennia.
And they found distinct sites, right, linked to different prehistoric cultures.
Yeah, 26 distinct sites identified so far. They show 3 successive cultures adapting to this unique environment.
Who were the first?
The earliest we know of are the Soinu culture. They were around from about 18,000 to 7,000 BC. They were coastal foragers. Their lifestyle was really tied to the sea, different from inland groups at the time.
Coastal foragers. What did they leave behind? How do we know about them?
Mostly simple stone tools, often just made from pebbles flaked on one side, and tons of shells, remnants of their meals, basically. Mountain snails, spring shellfish, found in caves like Mekong, Tien Long, gives you a picture of people living directly off the bay's resources.
Okay, early sea people. Then came the Kai Bao culture.
Yes, from around 7,000 to 5,000 BC. They're seen as this crucial link, sort of bridging the gap between the early foragers and later more settled groups. The key thing with them was developing more sophisticated ways to exploit the sea.
Sophisticated skills. What does that mean in practice back then? Better fishing, better boats.
Probably a mix. We see more refined tools, maybe early nets or traps. Evidence suggests they were getting better at systematically using marine resources, maybe better canoes for getting around the bay, a deeper understanding of tides and fish movements, a definite step up in their relationship with the sea.
Okay, they're getting smarter about living with the bay, which leads to the Ha Long culture.
Right. Flourishing around 5,000 to 3,500 years ago, this was a major Neolithic culture spread right across the bay. Now we see really significant developments.
Like what? What makes them stand out?
Their artifacts are more advanced, stone tools that are ground and polished, much more sophisticated, and lots of pottery fragments they knew, ceramics for storage, cooking, found in many places, including Thien Kung Cave, which people still visit.
Polished tools, pottery.
Yeah.
What does that tell us about how they lived? Were they settling down?
That's the implication. These finds suggest a huge shift. They weren't just hunting and gathering anymore. They were likely starting primitive agriculture.
Farming on those islands.
Maybe small-scale stuff. Clearing patches, growing early rice or vegetables, maybe keeping some animals. This allows for a more settled life. We see evidence of more permanent village sites, more complex burials. It really looks like early Vietnamese civilization was taking root and thriving right there in the bay.
Wow. From ancient foragers adapting to the coast to Neolithic farmers building communities, it's incredible how long people have been intertwined with this landscape.
That continuous thread stretching back tens of thousands of years.
Which sets the stage for its later role, not just as a home, but as a strategic center, right, in recorded Vietnamese history. Yeah, let's shift gears a bit. From deep prehistory to more recent times. Long Bay wasn't just beautiful or a place people lived. It was strategically vital for Vietnam, wasn't it? Its location made it super important.
Absolutely crucial. Its geography, that maze of islands, sheltered waters close to China, on major sea routes, it made it a natural hub for both trade and defense throughout Vietnam's feudal history.
And it was a big trade center pretty early on.
Oh, yeah. As early as the 12th century, during the Lai dynasty, they established the Van Don International Trading Port right there.
Van Dond. What was its significance?
It was huge, a primary gateway connecting ancient Vietnam with China, Japan, the rest of Southeast Asia. Imagine ships coming and going, loaded with silks, ceramics, spices. It was a buzzing economic engine and a place where cultures met and mingled. Its location was perfect for controlling that maritime trade.
So important that even the king paid close attention. I read King Lian Tong visited twice in the 1170s. That wasn't just a holiday trip, was it?
Definitely not. Those were calculated political moves. Visiting this crucial northeastern frontier was about asserting sovereignty, showing strength, saying, this vital port, this strategic area is firmly under our control. It discouraged any ideas neighbors might have had about challenging their authority there.
A royal power play. And later dynasties kept building on its importance. The Tran dynasty added a spiritual layer.
They did. The Tran rulers were devout Buddhists, and they developed a major sacred site nearby in the Yantu Mountains. This added a spiritual dimension to the region's existing economic and political weight. So Halong became this cornerstone, trade, politics, spirituality, all centered there.
But the most dramatic role, the one that really stands out in the sources, is as a natural fortress, where the landscape itself became a weapon.
This is where Halong's unique geology becomes an active player in history. It wasn't just a backdrop. It directly shaped battles.
And not just once. The sources say Vietnamese forces used the landscape, especially around the Bac Dang River nearby, to defeat bigger enemy fleets 3 times.
3 separate times. It shows this incredible, consistent, strategic understanding of the environment. They knew the tides, the channels, the hazards, and they used that knowledge brilliantly.
They didn't just fight on the land, they used the land as the weapon.
Exactly. It's a masterclass in using your environment.
And the most famous example, the one everyone talks about, is the battle in 1288 against the Mongols. Weren't they supposed to be unstoppable?
Kublai Khan's Mongol fleet, yeah. They had conquered huge empires. Their navy was feared across Asia. Defeating them was a massive upset, and it secured Vietnam's independence for a long time.
And the hero was General Tran Hungo. How did he pull it off? What was the plan?
Pure genius, leveraging the environment. He knew the Mongols had these huge warships, not suited for shallow, tricky river channels, and he knew the tidal patterns of the Bac Dang River intimately.
Okay, so what did he do?
He had his soldiers secretly plant massive wooden stakes, tipped with iron, into the riverbed. Crucially, they were positioned so at high tide they'd be completely underwater, invisible.
Hidden underwater spears, basically, waiting.
Precisely. Then, the Vietnamese fleet pretended to retreat, luring the big Mongol ships upriver into the kill zone, right over the hidden stakes.
The Mongols must have thought they had them cornered, sailing right into the trap.
Exactly. They pursued, confident in their size and numbers. Then, the tide turned, started going out.
Yeah.
Is right. As the water level dropped, those massive Mongol ships got impaled on the stakes, stuck fast, couldn't move, couldn't escape. The smaller, lighter Vietnamese boats could then attack them at will. It was a total disaster for the Mongols.
Yeah.
Annihilation.
Wow, using the tide, the riverbed, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Turning nature itself into the ultimate weapon. That's profound strategic thinking.
It really is. Environmental warfare at its finest. And there's a direct link to a place you can visit today. Dao Go Cave.
Dogo, Wooden Stakes Cave.
That's the one. Local legend and some historical accounts say that cave was used as a secret workshop or warehouse to prepare and hide those very stakes before the battle. Visiting it feels like stepping right back into that moment.
Incredible. And the bay continued to inspire. Even centuries later, there's a poem carved into a mountain.
Yeah, Emperor Lifan Tong in 1468 he visited, was blown away by the beauty and wrote a poem about it, had it carved right into a cliff. That mountain is now called Bai Thom Poem Mountain.
It shows how deeply the place resonates. History, myth, beauty, all tangled together.
It's a perfect example of that convergence. Nature, human history, ingenuity, art, all in one place.
So from ancient battles to emperors writing poetry, the best way to really get a sense of all this grandeur, though, is still to get out on the water, right? Which brings us to the practical side, the cruise experience.
Absolutely. You can talk about the scale and the beauty all day, but to really feel it, you have to be on the water, gliding between those karsts, seeing the hidden corners. A cruise isn't just transport, it's the only way to truly explore Ha Long Bay.
Right, you can't just drive around the edge and get the same effect. You need to be immersed in it.
Yeah.
So you've heard the myths, the geology, the history. Now how do you actually experience it? You take a cruise. And luckily, there are tons of options,
Oh,
right?
definitely. The market is huge.
Yeah.
There's something for pretty much every budget, every amount of time you have, every style of travel. Backpackers, luxury seekers, families, everyone's covered.
Okay, let's break down those options. What if you're short on time? What's the quick version?
That would be the day cruise, typically about 4 to 6 hours long. It's a condensed tour, hits the main highlights.
Like what? What do you usually see on a day trip?
Usually they'll take you to one of the big famous caves, Thin Kung, maybe Daogo, and often a stop at a viewpoint like Titop Island for that panoramic photo op. It's efficient, gives you a good visual overview.
Pros and cons, though. Efficient, yes, but
I can feel rushed. You're often moving with large crowds, especially at the main spots. It's a good snapshot, a taste, but maybe lacks that deep immersion, that sense of peace the bay can offer. You don't get the magic of sunset or sunrise.
okay, so for more immersion, the next step up is the overnight cruise. That seems to be the most popular choice.
Yeah, the 2-day, 1-night option is probably the sweet spot for most people. It allows you to really settle in, experience the bay's changing moods.
And the big draw is seeing sunset and sunrise over the karsts.
That's definitely a highlight. Seeing the colors change on the water and the rocks, it's unforgettable. Something you just can't get on a day trip. It feels much more complete.
And it's not just watching. You get to do stuff too, right? Activities.
Absolutely. This is where you get things like kayaking, paddling into hidden lagoons through little archways in the rock, places the main boat can't go. It's magical, really quiet and peaceful.
Kayaking sounds amazing. What else?
Swimming in sheltered coves, exploring bigger caves like Sungsat Cave, Surprise Cave, which is enormous inside, and many cruises add cultural activities on board too.
Like what kind of cultural things?
Often a Vietnamese cooking class, learn to make spring rolls maybe, or Tai Chi on the deck at sunrise. Nice ways to connect a bit more. Then the boat anchors overnight in a calm spot. Just you, the stars, the silence, surrounded by those silhouettes. It's pretty special.
That sounds like the way to really soak it in. But what if you want even more? To get really off the beaten track?
Then you look at the extended cruise, usually 3 days, 2 nights. This is for people who really want to explore deeper, escape the main tourist flow, and find more solitude.
How does that extra day make a difference? What do you do?
Typically, on the second day, you transfer to a smaller boat, like a D boat. This lets you get into really remote areas, often into the neighboring bays like Lan Ha or Bai Tu Long.
Ah, so you leave the main Ha Long area.
You explore the quieter parts of the wider complex. Same stunning scenery, but far fewer boats. It feels much more pristine, more like you have it to yourself.
And the activities are more intense.
Yeah, often more time for kayaking, exploring further afield, maybe visits to traditional floating fishing villages, seeing how people actually live on the water, relaxing on deserted beaches. It's about deeper exploration and tranquility.
So it really is a spectrum. Quick look, immersive overnight, or deep exploration. Depends what you're after. Makes you think. Which one calls to you? The highlights, the overnight magic, or the quiet corners?
And just as the itineraries vary, so do the boats themselves. Huge range there, too.
Right. From basic, budget-friendly options,
Yeah.
functional, gets you there.
Up to mid-range boats, often designed like traditional wooden junks. They look historic, even if they're modern builds. Adds to the atmosphere, feels a bit more authentic maybe.
Like stepping back in time a bit.
Then you get the high-end, the luxury cruises. These are basically floating 5-star hotels.
We're talking private balconies, jacuzzis.
Ensuite jacuzzis, gourmet food, spas, sometimes live music, total comfort mixed with the amazing scenery.
And even more exclusive options. Boutique boats.
Yeah, smaller boats with fewer cabins, more personalized service, or you can even charter a whole boat privately. So yeah, whether you want rustic charm or total luxury, there's a boat for it. The vessel definitely shapes the experience.
And you mentioned those other bays, Lan Ha and Bai Tu Long. Good options if you want to avoid crowds.
Definitely worth considering Lan Ha Bay to the south, Bai Tu Long to the northeast. Geologically, it's all part of the same system, same incredible karst landscape.
But quieter.
Generally, yes. Fewer cruise permits issued for those areas, so they feel Much more serene, more off the beaten path. You get that amazing scenery, but with more peace. A great alternative if tranquility is high on your list.
It's fascinating how choosing the right itinerary, the right boat, even the right specific bay can completely change how you experience Ha Long. A quiet trip in Bai Tu Long would feel totally different from a busy highlights tour in the main bay.
Tailoring it to what you want is key. Hashtag tag outro.
So what a journey. We've gone from celestial dragons creating islands with jewels
Incredible myth.
to 500 million years of geology sculpting those same islands. We've met people living there tens of thousands of years ago,
The deep human history.
seen how the landscape itself became a weapon to defend a nation, and looked at how you can actually get out there on the water today. It really is a place where every rock, every inlet has layers and layers of stories. This deep dive shows just how much more there is than just the pretty pictures.
It really does. And connecting it to that bigger picture, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? In a world that feels so explored, so mapped out, how many other places hold these kinds of incredibly deep, multi-layered stories? Where the geology, the myths, the human history, the culture, it's all tangled together, waiting for us to look beyond the surface and really understand those echoes.
That's a great thought. What other landscapes are whispering stories we haven't quite learned to hear yet? Something to definitely mull over. Maybe while planning your own trip to the realm of the descending dragon, ready to discover its layers for yourself.
A worthwhile trip for sure.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into such an extraordinary place.